And I will be your conference operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to the CA Wily Global User Community Webcast. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question-and-answer session. If you would like to ask a question during this time, simply press star then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. If you would like to withdraw your question, press the pound key. Thank you. I will now turn today's conference call over to Mr. Paul Savitz. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Happy New Year to everyone. And we have a great presentation for you today. Raj Marripalli and Sohail Siddiqui from CA are going to be delivering a CA Wily APM, or now it's just CA APM, excuse me, 9.1 overview for us. And without further ado, because we ended up starting a little bit late, Raj, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Paul. Happy New Year to you all. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Raj Marripalli. I'm Principal Product Manager for CA APM product. So we recently announced the release of APM 9.1 in December, and we also announced it in the CA world. So in APM 9.1, we added a lot of new areas, new capabilities in the new areas, and we also added major enhancements to existing capabilities. So in this session, we are going to talk about the top compelling reasons to upgrade to APM 9.1. So the idea is first we will provide the context of service assurance and APM, and then the top reasons for upgrading to APM 9.1, the marquee features overview in 9.1, and then do a deep dive into one of the marquee features, followed by a demo, and then how to do the upgrade. And we have plenty of time for Q&A at the end. So at CA Technologies, we discuss the application performance management. We always talk about it in the context of service assurance. Why? Because assuring business services depends on effective alignment of IT functions as well as between IT and business functions. The most concerned companies are concerned about creating this alignment. And one of the IDG reports, IDG survey says that most 75% of organizations considered IT business alignment as a major concern, and 35% have difficulties in tying the business goals to IT. And 31% of companies don't even have sufficient tools to monitor and manage their IT environments. So at CA Technologies, we approach application performance management as part of overall IT service assurance and expand our discussion to include infrastructure management, service operations management, and executive insight, tying all the aspects of IT and business management together to achieve the goal of delivering optimum business services. Each IT and business role is responsible for some aspect of assuring business services. In fact, all of these functions are interdependent and function together to ensure the service your end users expect. So our goal is to deliver highly capable products to optimize the management experience for individuals in these roles. So here is a big picture of APM. So you might have seen a flavor of this during the CA World. All these agents, end user experience and application agents, they report the data to centralized enterprise managers and an enterprise manager for dashboarding, reporting, and analysis purposes. And we have an intuitive UI to access this data using a browser or a thick Java client. So from there, we made it easy to get this information into the hands of non-IT executives and decision makers through CA Executive Insights, which pulls the data from CA APM and presents it in an easy-to-read format in mobile devices. So we also leverage bidirectional integration with Catalyst to communicate the service operations insight, infrastructure management, and third-party monitoring tools. A number of new features in 9.1 leverage this integration to provide infrastructure-aware application triage. So let's take a look at the themes of APM 9.1, smart triage, simple APM, and broaden application coverage. So we have the same similar to the themes also in our previous release APM 9. Smart triage is about the tools that will help triage application problems effectively and efficiently. Simplify APM is our ongoing effort to make it easy to use APM, make it easy to deploy and manage APM infrastructure. Application architectures are ever-changing and they are complex. As part of APM, we constantly, increase our application footprint to cover these new architectures. And we added some features to expand our footprint in APM 9.1. So in this release, we used the best of the breed service assurance products and CEA application performance management integration to provide these core capabilities, to provide visibility into the infrastructure and network. So let's take a look at how what's new in APM 9.1 and how they tie back to these themes. So the first one is under smart triage. We have infrastructure visibility using infrastructure-aware application triage. We can provide the visibility into you can gain the visibility into the network, private cloud, and the data centers. And the second one is a unified appliance. So using the integration between the APM and our infrastructure management network monitoring tool, you can now you can run the APM on a multi-port collector for network monitoring. So this is a unified appliance, so you have the same device to monitor both network and end-user experience. So as you can see, this is expanded. This is spanned across smart triage and simple APM. So you can your application monitoring and end user experience is simplified because now you have single device to monitor both the network and end user. And because of this tight integration, now you can get more visibility into your network from your applications. So your application support teams can gain the network visibility. Likewise, your network teams can also gain the visibility into the network, into the applications using their own tools. Under simple APM, we added a lot of features to enhance the triaging visualization, application triage map visualization, alerting capabilities. And we also added a new UI to monitor your application cluster health. As part of the broaden application coverage, we added features to monitor flex and response-based transactions. And across throughout the APM infrastructure, we made a lot of improvements to our performance, scalability, usability, and manageability of APM. And we made a lot of improvements to Java and .NET monitoring and user enhancements. So, for example, in Java, we added GC monitor to monitor your Java JVMs, and we added the thread dump generator to interactively collect thread dumps from the console for a selected JVM. So APM 9.1, the top reasons for upgrading to APM 9.1. In APM 9.1, as I mentioned, we made a lot of improvements to existing features, and also we added new visibility into new areas. As you can see, the first one is the efficient triage using our infrastructure-aware application triage capability. Now you can get the visibility from the applications into your infrastructure servers, databases, your virtual machines, and your private cloud environment. Second one is unified end user experience management. As I mentioned, we integrated APM with network monitoring solutions, wherein you can not only run the transaction impact monitor in a network monitoring device, if you use that same device to monitor both network and end user experience, with this tied integration now, what happens is the application support teams can gain, they can see the, in addition to the end user experience data and the application server side metrics. Now they can also see how the client networks are doing and how the server networks are doing. And for a given problematic transaction, they can also you can also drill down into individual TCP level information. And we increase the third reason is we increase the application monitoring footprint to cover the response-based transaction. That is a fundamental change we made. So now you can see both. So now you can record transactions for more complex application transactions, which has both request and response. So, for example, a transaction is identified using request signature, and you also have a specific message in the response that identifies your transaction. For example, your username is displayed on the and your end user's username is displayed on the page, and that identifies as a single unique transaction. So now you can define your transactions based on both request and response signatures. So with this capability, now we can also monitor the flex-based applications. So as you can see, the last two bullets address the existing features. So we had made a lot of, one of the major innovations we did internally is improving the agent performance. In this release, we significantly improved the performance of agent and overall performance of APM to leverage the hardware, the additional hardware available in the MTP appliance. We fine-tuned our transaction impact monitor to increase its monitoring capacity. So that that we made improvements also in the scalability of inside the enterprise manager stability and the robustness. Now you can view the monitoring health of APM clusters in the UI along with your application monitoring information. You can see how is your APM cluster deployed, whether there are any problems in your APM clusters. So as you can see, there are plenty of features added in APM 9.1, and we do not have enough time to go through all of these features in this particular session. So what we're going to do in this session is to focus on the first aspect of this APM 9.1, doing efficient triage using infrastructure-aware application triage. And then in the next session, so we're planning to have a series of these sessions. In the next one, we will cover the end-user experience management and increased application monitoring footprint. And in the third session, we will cover the agent and APM improvements. So here are the marquee features: infrastructure-aware application triage, end-user experience, unified end-user experience monitoring, flex and non-verification coverage. I will cover the infrastructure-aware in detail, but again, recapping on unified end-user experience monitoring. This is about the integration between APM and the network monitoring, infrastructure monitoring related to the network. So how we did integration between the APM and the multi-port collector that will help you monitor your network and end-user experience using single device, which will help you deploy and monitor both network and end-user experience seamlessly. And with this integration, now you have additional visibility into the network. So application, in addition to your application dashboards, you can also see the server side. You can also see the networks both on the server side and also on the client side. And for a given problematic transaction, you can drill down into the TCP layer and you can see more network layer, TCP layer information for that particular problematic transaction. You can use so the additional advantage is now the network teams can also get the same visibility as the APM teams are getting. So in the context of the network performance, they can see the application business services, incident, defects, and the rest of the application information. So other marquee feature we added is a flex and non-web application coverage. This is about recording and monitoring more complex transactions for newer application architectures. You can also monitor non-web-based applications using this APM 9.1. So we are going to cover these two blocks in the next session, but in this session we will just focus on infrastructure-aware application triage. So here is APM 9 architecture. For those who are not on APM 9.8, the major change we did in APM 9 is consolidating the server-side architecture for both interscope and end-user experience management. So we have the collectors in APM 9. The collectors are same for both interscope agents as well as for team. So these collectors are pumping gathering the data from these agents. You can call them as application agents and agentless monitoring, right? You have the MOM providing the same visibility into the end user monitoring and the interscope into the application using the same client. So as you can notice, there is no out-of-the-box integration between APM and the rest of the network monitoring and CA Catalyst in APM 9. In APM 9.1, the application architecture is on the server side APM architecture is same. As you can see now, the MTP, this is the multi-port cover collector. This is a device that monitors the network that is typically used by the network teams. This is called MTP, multi-port collector. So now the transaction impact monitor for monitoring the end user experience can run on this multi-port collector. As you can see, this team runs as a standalone the agent, standalone team agent, as it same as 9. This is one additional thing we added in APM 9.1. So you can also see the integration with application delivery analysis, and using this, now APM can show more client and network-based client and server-side network information in the APM dashboard. And same integration will also help the network teams to view the application information in the performance center in the context of the network monitoring information. As you can see, we also have integration between Catalyst, which is primarily consumed by service operations inside in this first release. But you can imagine having any other tool, like any other eHealth, other service assurance to infrastructure management and the service operations inside, and third-party tools can use the same Catalyst integration. So let's drill down into infrastructure-aware application triage. So just to recap, this infrastructure-aware application triage, it expands the visibility into the hybrid cloud infrastructure and also the private cloud, meaning your virtual machines. Now you can see your server information, server alerts, and the database alerts within the context of application in the triage map. And you can also see if a particular software component is running on your physical server or the virtual server. So here is a scenario where we have service operations. You can imagine this is typical to your IT organization. You have an infrastructure team, an application team, a database team, and a network team. Now, each team leverages their own the domain managers to monitor, triage, and diagnose issues within their domain. It is not uncommon that these teams work in siloed nature, and that is represented by this brick wall between the teams. Let's see the level 1 operations they monitor alerts from all the domains, and their goal is to create a ticket and assign a ticket whenever whenever they detect a problem. So in this scenario, the application support person sees that there is a problem originated from APM, and he quickly dispatches the problem to the application team. Now, application support receives the request and uses APM domain manager to triage the issue, but he's unable to find a smoking gun within the application layer. He suspects that the problem might be within the server infrastructure, but he doesn't know what the problem could be. So he sends back that information, the ticket to operations, and saying that it's not my problem, it's not application problem, the problem could be somewhere in the server side. Now the operations reassigns the ticket to infrastructure team, system administrators, but again, this doesn't have much context of the application, so the system administrators don't have much to work on. They realize that there is an issue. There are like few issues on their server side, but they are not sure if they are caused by any bad application, or if they don't even know whether those issues are related to any of the business services and applications that are problematic right now. So they send back the ticket to operations to get more information. So this back and forth happens, a few times before they resolve the problem. So the lack of integrated contextual information between domain managers creates a lot of finger pointing, blame between teams. It creates inefficiencies, and it takes long to resolve the issue. So through the integration with a minimum set of information, we can provide 360-degree visibility to our application users. Consider the same scenario now. You have level 1 operators monitoring this, this infrastructure using their infrastructure and applications, and their job is to assign the ticket. They find that this operation support person finds that there is a problem, and he forwards the problem to the application support team. Now, this application support person receives this request and uses APM domain manager to triage the issue. He suspects the problem might be within the server infrastructure, and the visibility now getting that visibility into the infrastructure is key. He sees that there could be a problem. He sees in the APM domain, in the APM itself, that there is a problem in the server infrastructure layer that could be causing the application problem. But it is just his speculation based on the information available. So what this application support person does is he forwards the information to the infrastructure team along with the context. He is exactly pinpointing what the problem he's seeing in the application and the business service that he's monitoring, and he's also associating some information about the infrastructure that it could be potentially causing a problem. So now the application, the infrastructure person, system administrator looks at this and then say, hey, he confirm that, yeah, this is a problem, and this could be causing the application issue. So now, each other are able to see, the application support person and the infrastructure system administrator, they are able to see what other tools are reporting. Application support person can see what the IAM domain managers are saying. Likewise, the system administrator can see what the application performance management tool is showing. So this reduces this break down the silos between the teams. It improves the collaboration, and it reduces the overall mean time to repair. So here is a brief description of the transaction model. So what you saw, envelope that goes back and forth between the infrastructure team and operations team, and how we, what information is encapsulated in that envelope is described here. So as you can see, we introduced the transaction model in APM 9. And, this transaction model serves as a foundation for C application performance management. This model captures both the business services and business transactions. And it also captures the logical relationship between the application structures, such as servlets, web services, JDBCs, and so on. So the business transactions are, typically they are identified as a unit of work performed by end users. For example, in trading service shown here, you could have various end user transactions. You want to be able to monitor, such as login or submitting an order or querying your order summaries. These are all individual business transactions. So these business transactions, along with their grouping into business services, will be stored in this transaction model when discovered by APM. The application front ends are logical. The application front ends that you see are the logical representations of the application. As the transaction flows across the underlying application agent, the agents capture the information about these front ends and the software components where they are running, the containers where the software components are running, and it also tracks the backend calls. So in a way, this transaction model captures not only captures the transactions, but it also captures the software components and the containers and the backend calls. So we also the server where these containers are running. So all this information is stored in one single envelope called transaction model, and we publish this information to various other tools. We publish this information to USM, Unified Service Model, and this information is consumed by other tools such as Service Operations Insight in this case. So here, breakdown of the, another way to represent the same transaction model. At the topmost layer, we have business services, business transactions, and you can see software components where the business transactions are running. And you can see, this contains also the container information, whether it is Java or .NET, where these application components are running. And you can see the computer system, whether it is a virtual machine or the physical system. So, for example, this information can be easily read by Service Operations team, Operations Insight tool, and they can automatically embed this into the unified service model. So let's take a look at the APM 9.1 architecture and then focus on the integration with the Service Operations Insight. Let's drill down into this Catalyst integration. So every service assurance domain manager has their own Catalyst connectors, as you can see here, right? These connectors, when deployed, will publish the relevant CIs like computer systems, virtual system, database instance, table space, processor, memory, blah, blah, blah. This information is published to the Catalyst. Along with these CIs, they also publish alert information about these CIs. Similarly, on the APM side, APM Catalyst connectors, as you can see that there is a connector between APM and Catalyst. Now, this Catalyst connector publishes the unified service model that we just saw. While publishing the transaction model CIs, APM also sends the alerts that are affecting the JVM or CLR container, as well as application level alerts from application triage map. So these alerts provide application context for consuming, for solutions like, service operations inside. Okay. So here is, high-level overview of breakdown of the features of infrastructure-aware application triage. So, this APM 9 introduced a triage map, and it evolved. We can see how it evolved to include the triage map, and how it includes the dependencies on underlying infrastructure. It captures the relationships to the databases. It shows the relationship, the application dependency on the database and the servers. But in the triage map at the top level portion, the Sohail will walk you through the demo in a minute. In the top level, you can see the triage application dependency on the database, and when you drill down, you can see into a particular you can see how where a particular software component runs, and you can also see the information about the alerts. So not just this triage map, once you have the information available about the application on the dependent infrastructure, the next question is whether it is causing a problem to the application or not. So you can see the alert information in the triage map and also the location map. So, this information is published to Catalyst in a bidirectional manner. So we consume the data that's available in Catalyst, and then we surface it in the triage map, so that the application support person can rule in or rule out the possibility of an infrastructure element impacting the application performance. So as I mentioned, we use the CA unified service model to share data across domains. Just to recap, infrastructure application triage reduces the time to triage application problems, which are caused by infrastructure elements. And it improves the collaboration, it increases efficiency and mean time to repair. And most importantly, you can leverage your investments in your IT management. And, using this, we can provide 360, using your existing monitoring tools, we provide 360-degree visibility. So Catalyst, I talked a lot about Catalyst. Now I spend a minute on how you can download the Catalyst. This Catalyst is part of Service Operations Insight, but APM and Introscope users can get access to the Service Operations, can get access to the Catalyst that's bundled as part of Service Operations Insight. So meaning, if you have license to APM and Introscope, you can only use the portions of SOI that will allow you to download and use the Catalyst. With APM and Introscope license, you cannot use the complete functionality of SOI. You need to get the full license of SOI to use Service Operations Insight. But you can always, with APM and Introscope, you can get the Catalyst download, and you can use it for infrastructure-aware application triage. So for additional information about licensing, you can contact your account team. In this session, we'll focus on the functional and the technical aspects. So with this, I'll hand it over to Sohail for a demo. Sohail, over to you.
Thank you, Raj. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure. My name is Sohail Siddiqui. I'm the Senior Principal Product Marketing Manager for the Service Assurance business. I'm going to share my desktop here in a second and show you a quick walkthrough of the capabilities that Raj just talked about. So again, the objective for the APM 9.1 release was, and Raj, can you please confirm you can see my desktop?
Yes, I can see your desktop.
Okay, thank you. So as Raj mentioned, the objectives was smart triage and simple APM. And the way I look at it is that basically it's information at your fingertips. If you look at what you're seeing on the screen, this is the application triage map for customers who already have APM 9. You're familiar with this triage map. For those who are running 8.x, you probably haven't seen this. So what we're showing here quickly is by business service, all of the business transactions that are participating in that business service. We discover these transactions and dynamically create the dependencies that those transactions have in terms of what application components are they executing. This application triage map not only shows application components, but it shows what the end user is experiencing in terms of performance. So it's a holistic view of the entire transaction end-to-end, from the browser to the back end. And in addition to that, with the infrastructure application triage and the integration with the unified service model and the Catalyst infrastructure, we're able to get infrastructure events down to the application triage map. As you see here on the database, I have an indication that the database is running normally and there are no alerts. So that's tightly integrated into the application triage map for easy triage. And what I'm going to do now is trigger an event, and let's see how I'm going to trigger a database event, and let's see how it shows up on the application triage map. So I've run the trigger, and basically, as you can see, I already see a red X on the database. And so even before the transaction, and I'm starting to get some alerts, I'm going to minimize this box. Before I even see the transaction getting affected, I'm already notified that there's a problem with the database. And as this progresses through, this database event will eventually affect that transaction. And I see that my placeholder transaction is getting affected by this database event. Now, I can isolate this transaction, and this is a new feature capability that we added in 9.1. You can isolate that transaction on the application triage map to look at it further. So here, again, I see that my transaction times for placeholder is about over 8.5 seconds, and I can see metrics for all of the downstream components, and then the database alert as well. Now, obviously, if I'm a triager, I'd rather look at the database event first to make sure there's nothing wrong with the database before I go in and investigate the application events. So I'm going to double-click on that and look at this database alert. And here it says that the database failed to add a new extent. So basically, this is good indication that there's a serious problem with the database. And what I can do is, at this point, the triager can talk to the database administrator or the database team to show them this error, have them look at the database, see what's wrong with the database, why is this transaction not executing properly. It's very likely because of a problem with the database. So very simply, you can triage this problem right to the domain without having to spend a lot of time trying to investigate where the problem is. I'm going to toggle that event back and show you a couple of other things that we have added in terms of how your server events show up on this triage map, and a second view, which is called the location map. So I've toggled that database event back down so that everything should go green in a second. And then what I will do is I will toggle what is called an event on the physical server that this application is running on. So now everything's gone green, and I will toggle this event on the physical server. Now what I can do is let's say I want to look at my order engine. If there's a problem with this transaction and I'm going to look at my order engine, I can right-click on that order engine and view the location. So this is a new view we've added, which is called the location map. It gives you an environmental view of what's running on that server. So the outer layer is the physical server. The next layer is the virtual server. And then following that is the virtual JVM that's running your applications. On the right, you have all of the application processes that are running. and whether and their current status. And on the top left, you have metrics. For example, you can see CPU utilization. Everything is brought together in this one or two views so that for effective triage. And when I click on the outer box, I get the alert indication. What is happening? There's high CPU utilization on the physical box. And this event we are gathering by our integration with the Unified Service Model and Catalyst. And not only can we get this, but all events that are provided by our infrastructure management products. So, maybe the CPU is running too high, or the CPU, the temperature of that CPU is running too high, and other alerts that are probably more relevant from an infrastructure perspective. Let me toggle that back and show an example of how a virtual event. So if there's a problem with the virtual machine, how would that appear? When I toggle this here, and then I have an alert, and I can look at that, and again, I have metrics right handy here, and events that are showing up that tell me there's high memory utilization on that virtual machine, and maybe there's too much crashing going on. So this is all information that's readily available on two views, the triage map and the location map, that helps in effective triage. So at this point, I'm going to pass it back on to Raj for the coverage.
Thank you, Sohail. So I have a few questions here. Before, I'll just keep this slide up here. Can you see my screen?
Actually, Raj, before we continue, can we just have the operator jump in to explain how to ask a question? It can be done either on the live meeting, and it can also be done by the telephone.
Sure.
If you would like to ask an audio question at this time, simply press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. We'll pause for just a moment.
Raj, I think there are already some questions on the.
Yeah.
So do you want to go through those while we're waiting for phone questions?
Sure. Let's go through these. The first question is about, since you included infrastructure visibility, it means that you included EP agent in application agent. And with this, we don't need to deploy EP agents. So the question is whether we need to deploy the EP agents for infrastructure monitoring. So the answer is, if you have the CA Catalyst and you have your domain managers, Spectrum and eHealth monitoring your network and your infrastructure, you can get the same visibility. You don't need to deploy additional agents to monitor the same entities. Now you can get that information from your existing domain tools, domain monitoring tools. So if you have EP agents for some other purposes, you should continue to use it. But if you have EP agents for monitoring your infrastructure, you can get, and you have eHealth and Spectrum as well, we can just get rid of the EP agents and gather the same information from using the Catalyst.
So Raj, this is Paul just jumping in. So the key point here is that you need to have eHealth or Spectrum to get those comprehensive infrastructure metrics.
That's correct. Thank you. So the second question here is, Network Monitor is a free or add-on? I guess you're referring to the capability Unified End User Experience Management, that is an add-on on top of APM. There is another question about TIM install that runs on multi-port collector, still an install of Red Hat Enterprise Linux or something else. So the TIM install that runs on multi-port collector is CentOS. So we did TIM in two different softwares. One is Red Hat Enterprise Linux that runs on your, as a standalone software appliance. Second one is TIM as CentOS that runs on MTP only. Yeah, webinar is being recorded. You will get a link to that recording. When do we get to ask questions? what features are out of the box. So infrastructure-aware application triage is out-of-the-box feature. You don't need to pay any additional license for that. That requires, to leverage this functionality, you need to have, existing monitoring tools like eHealth or Spectrum. The features that we talked about, expanding the coverage into Flex and non-HTTP, both HTTP request and response-based transaction recording. That is part of out-of-the-box feature. Then next one is harvesting information from APM agent or SysEdge agent or Spectrum information that ties together. So the information that we saw in the infrastructure-aware application triage is from SysEdge agent and Spectrum agents. We are not deploying any more agents to gather the infrastructure information. We are using the existing domain managers to gather to gather that information, show it in the application APM UI. MOM on pages 9 and 17, I noticed the MOM has a smart store database. We are running Interscope 82 and we do not have smart store on our MOM. Oh, smart store is embedded inside the MOM and collectors. People don't even recognize that it is already there. So it is embedded. It's a file system based database. It is internal. Yes.
There is an audio question online. Would you like to take that question?
Yes, please.
That question is from Sipti Faruqi.
Hello.
How much is structural difference between APM 9 and 8.0? And as far as monitoring point of view, what is the main features you change at APM 9.0 as compared to 8.0? Because we are running 8.0 here. Thank you.
In APM 9.0, I'll give you a high-level overview. We added application triage map. That's our major monitoring feature we added. But if you are in 8.0, I would recommend you to directly upgrade to 9.1.
Right.
And in APM 9, we also added a lot of other functionality for TIBCO, web methods, and MQ monitoring enhancements. In APM 9, we introduced this unified transaction model that combines both the end-user experience and the application monitoring. In 9.1, the feature that we went through is one of the many features that we added in 9.1. Infrastructure-aware application triage is the first monitoring capability. And on top of that, we added the network monitoring, the unified end-user experience management, and the Flex and non-HTTP based application coverage. And we have added APM cluster monitoring views. You can view your cluster dependency and the health of your cluster. And we have improved the performance of agent. We improved the stability of EM. So there are a lot of new features in Java and Java monitoring for GC monitor and thread dump generator. We improved the CEM monitoring as well. So there are a bunch of features, and we are going to cover that in the next 2 sessions as well. This is just very first session of covering high level of APM 9.1. and deep dive into infrastructure-aware application triage.
Thank you. This is Paul Savitz. Can I just ask one quick question to the operator? It seems like I'm trying to have people rate the webcast, and it seems like the polls are closed. Is that something you can reset?
No, I'm sorry. We only handle the audio portion.
Okay.
I should be able to take care of that.
Paul, I got that open now.
All right, great. If people could just let us know what you think about the presentation, but please continue to ask questions for Raj.
There is another audio question from Tim Tsai.
Is there any improvement in the IBM MQ area 9.1?
MQ monitoring specifically?
Yes.
No, not any. I don't. Maybe we might have made small enhancements here and there, but not major ones that I can recall.
Okay, thank you.
There is a question next to Murali Kakla.
Hi, Murali.
Hey, Raj. I have a question in terms of the stability of the APM 9.1 because we recently upgraded to 9.0 environment and we are seeing a lot of memory leaks issues with the agents. And so how would you say the stability? Because it took a lot of effort for us to put the 9.0 into all the agents in our environment, and now we are seeing the memory leaks. And recently CA released a patch saying that, hey, we identified all these memory leaks. Let's go ahead and update your. So if we have to do this session once again for 9.1 a couple of times, so how would you rate the stability of this?
So one of the major improvements we made to the existing functionality is called lean agent. We called it internally as a lean agent, but this added a lot of performance improvement to the agent. The first one is it improved the memory footprint usage. It reduced the memory footprint usage, reduced the CPU overhead, and increase the throughput. So we made a lot of improvements, and we validated this at customer environment, a few customer deployments during the beta. I would rate one of the major things. I would say I'm really proud to say that one of the major things that we did in APM 9.1 is the agent improvements. We redesigned some of the structures, internal structures, and that to help improve the APM, help improve the agent performance. I would rate, I don't have any absolute numbers to compare 9.0 and 9.1, but it is, we saw dramatic improvement in our customer locations and during early access program.
So is it ready to update from 9.0 to 9.1, or do we need to wait for any service pack?
It's already there. You can just upgrade from 9.0 to 9.1.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Raj.
Yeah, any of you, if you have any additional questions, you can also send me an email. Maybe I will include my email address in one of the broadcasts that go out in this after this session. Please feel free to send me an email. I can help you with your questions.
Also, too, we'll be posting the presentation on the Wily Global User Group portal. So, Raj, maybe you can post your information there.
Yes. Okay.
Are there any other questions?
There are no further audio questions. I'm sorry, there's a follow-up question at this time from Tim Sai.
Actually, it's a different question. I understand in 9.1, it used to be prior to 9.1, they put all type of application server in one set. But now in 9.1, they're all separate. For example, the WebLogic is separate, and the JBoss, Tomcat, they're all separate. So,
okay,
is there any reason to do that?
Okay, yeah, that's a very good question. This is about packaging. The question is, in 9.0, we used to have one big package for agent. In 9.1, we have created multiple packages. If you remember, if you recall, in APM 8, we used to have multiple power packs, and then we used to have unmanaged number of agent bundles. In 9.0, we bundled everything together into one big bundle. But the downside of that is it created 500 megs of download. Even if you want to download one JBoss agent, you have to download the entire bundle. So we addressed that problem by saying, okay, we just have 5 or 6 different bundles, one per app server. So one for WebLogic, one for WebSphere, one for JBoss, and so on. So if you are just interested in 2 web server app servers, you can just download those 2. I mean, it is just the convenience aspect. No other big reason to do that.
If we want to, we can still bundle all of them together, right?
Yes, you can do. Yes, you can put them all together into one zip. It's just a convenience aspect for downloading.
Also, seems to me there's no more power pack that I can download on 9.1. Is there differences now for the power pack? I mean, for the extension stuff?
Raj, it may be better if you perhaps take this question offline, maybe have this gentleman send you an email. Do you want to cover some of the other questions that are on here, and then we can wrap it up?
Sure, I can. So, Tim, please send me an email to my email address. I will send my email address after the session. It will be included in that.
About the database, MQ, those power pack stuff.
Yeah. Well, you know what? If you want to contact him, if you want to contact Raj, he's going to post his email address up on the Global User Group site.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, or I can also type it down here in case you want to note.
Sure.
Raj, let me read you some of the questions that are here, and maybe you can take a stab at this. The first one is, do you guys do port spanning for network devices, and can you monitor F5? Quick yes, no. Or we don't know the answer.
Monitoring the span port?
Yeah, I guess we'll have to get back to that question, I think, right?
The network,
The next one is, you haven't mentioned CDV. This is a new feature of 9.1. I think you're going to be covering this in the subsequent session, right?
Yes, we are going to cover a lot of features, yes, in subsequent sessions.
And we'll be sending out notifications once we determine when the next presentation is going to be. I think it's going to be approximately a month from now. We'll send out all the same notifications.
Okay, the next question is, how does APM monitor underlying VM infrastructure? Is this a major upgrade?
So from APM 9 to APM 9.1 is not a major, and it is an upgrade, but the infrastructure components are same between APM 9 and 9.1.
I think the question though is what do you need to monitor the underlying? Are we talking about underlying VM infrastructure as in VMware, or are we talking about GC monitoring?
I think in general it's probably referring to any virtual machine.
Yes.
Oh, it says VMware now. That gentleman has changed the question to VMware.
Yeah, if it's VMware, all right, then that's okay. Then that's a different story.
So, as long as you have a Spectrum monitoring your infrastructure and that is covering your VM, the virtual machine monitoring and management as well, as long as that Spectrum is monitoring your infrastructure, we can get that information. So one thing, we could consider, again, this functionality is not there today, is a third-party connector to other domain managers. That is something we could consider and build in future, but it's not there today.
Right. So the next question related to that is, does CA Catalyst work with other non-CA tools like OEM or Tivoli? And I believe we have some connectors to third-party products, I think, HP, IBM, but I don't think we have. We should probably publish that list somewhere, right?
Yeah, but it's not there, Tivoli. Yes, Tivoli is not part of the list.
Okay. And then the last question, if I make an upgrade of the EM MOM, I have to make an upgrade of the EM collectors?
I'm sorry, what's the question here? I'm reading this question on my chat window. So what is the question, sorry?
The question is, if we upgrade the Enterprise Manager MOM, do I have to upgrade the collectors as well?
Yes. So both EM, so I put that in my slide. You will get a copy of that. Both Enterprise Manager, actually Enterprise Manager, MOM, collectors, and team, they all have to be on the same version. The backward compatibility and also the workstations. So the backward compatibility is only with the application agents, so you don't have to upgrade your agents that are monitoring your Java and .NET, but your team, your collectors, your MOM needs to be upgraded together in the workstation. So here, do you see any question from Manish? I see that he wants to ask a question, but
no, I don't think so. I think maybe we should wrap it up at this point, Raj.
Right. Okay. If anybody's interested, I think Manish's question was, is the presentation this afternoon the same as the one this morning? And the answer is yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I think we're ready to wrap it up. Thank you so much, Raj and Sohail. Really appreciate it. We will be repeating the presentation at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and we will be sending out information shortly on the next installment. Thanks, everyone.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye. Bye.